April 1951. The Korean hills near Yultong were cold, but war burned hotter than ever. The last traces of winter clung to the land, but peace was nowhere in sight. Filipino soldiers of the 10th Battalion Combat Team, PEFTOK's Fighting 10th, stood ready, far from home. They were part of the United Nations force, defending South Korea from invasion. Young and homesick, they understood their mission: hold the line no matter the cost. The 38th parallel divided north and south, and the Filipinos were stationed right on the edge. The night of April 22nd was eerily quiet, too quiet. The Chinese People's Volunteer Army was preparing a massive assault, the Spring Offensive. Their goal was to break through and capture Seoul. The Filipinos, outnumbered and outgunned, stood directly in their path, but retreat was not an option. The coming battle would test their courage and define their legacy. As darkness fell, the ground trembled with the approach of thousands of enemy soldiers. The men braced themselves, knowing history was about to be written. The Battle of Yultong would become a symbol of Filipino bravery. It was a story of a small group standing against overwhelming odds. They held their ground when others fell back. Their ferocity surprised their enemies and inspired their allies. The battle was more than a clash of armies. It was a testament to the Filipino spirit. Courage, loyalty, and the will to fight for what's right would soon be on full display. In the cold Korean spring, the Fighting 10th prepared to make their stand. The world would soon know their name. The legend of Yultong was about to begin. Why were Filipinos in Korea? Just a few years after independence, the Philippines answered the United Nations call to defend South Korea from invasion. President Quirino believed in standing against tyranny, even as the Philippines rebuilt from World War II. Congress passed the Philippine Military Aid to Korea Act, sending troops abroad for the first time under their own flag. Over 5 years, more than 7,400 Filipino volunteers served in Korea. Farmers, teachers, students united by duty. The 10th BCT, the Fighting 10th, was the first to arrive. They faced harsh winters and brutal combat, but brought resilience, humor, and fierce loyalty. Quickly, they earned a reputation as tough, reliable soldiers. Their mission: fight alongside UN forces, push back the invasion, and restore peace. They were not just soldiers, they were ambassadors of the Filipino people. Their presence declared the Philippines ready to stand with other free nations. The cold hills of Yultong became the stage for their noblest cause. They showed the world the price the Philippines was willing to pay for freedom. Their sacrifice would echo far beyond the battlefield. This was the spirit that brought them to Korea. On April 22, 1951, the night exploded with the Chinese Spring Offensive. 40,000 Chinese soldiers surged forward, targeting the sector held by the U.S. 65th Infantry and the Filipino 10th BCT. Bugles blared, voices roared, a human tide meant to overwhelm. The Filipinos, just 900 strong, faced impossible odds. Wave after wave crashed against their lines. American and Puerto Rican units on the flanks began to fall back, leaving the Filipinos exposed. The order to withdraw came, but not all could escape. Captain Conrado Yap learned that Tank Company, led by Lieutenant Jose Artiaga Jr., was still trapped and surrounded. Instead of retreating, Captain Yap made a fateful choice. He would counterattack to rescue his men. The battle raged through the night. Machine guns overheated, rifles blazed, grenades flew. Lieutenant Fidel V. Ramos, future Philippine president, led a crucial reconnaissance platoon. The Filipinos fought for their lives and for their brothers beside them. The odds were staggering, but their resolve was unbreakable. The Battle of Yultong had begun. Filipino courage was being tested by fire. Every man knew, leave no one behind. Their stand would become legend. The world was watching. The Filipino spirit refused to yield. In the chaos, acts of heroism defined the night. Lieutenant Artiaga's tank company was overrun, but he refused to abandon his post. Mortally wounded, he fought to his last breath, buying time for his comrades. Captain Yap led a daring counterattack, charging into the heart of battle to reach the trapped men. They found Artiaga still firing, inspiring his men to fight on. Private First Class Domingo Deluana, a machine gunner, lost his weapon but didn't hesitate. Grabbing a fallen comrade's rifle, he charged an enemy nest, silencing it at the cost of his own life. Across the Yultong line, Filipinos shared ammunition, tended the wounded, and fought back to back. When bullets ran out, they used bayonets and fists. Driven by camaraderie, they refused to break. Their stand was not just about survival, it was about honor and brotherhood. The hills echoed with their defiance. Ordinary men became legends that night. Their courage inspired all who witnessed it. The world would remember their names. The Yultong line held, against all odds. Filipino valor shone brightest in the darkest hour. After the counterattack, the Filipinos were nearly surrounded. The main UN line had withdrawn, leaving them isolated. The order to retreat came again, but withdrawal under fire was perilous. The Filipinos formed a defensive arc, covering their own and allied retreats. Step by step they moved back, firing constantly to hold the enemy at bay. For 2 days, exhausted and low on supplies, they never broke. Their disciplined withdrawal blunted the Chinese offensive, buying time for the UN to regroup. The new defensive line near Seoul held, saving the capital. The Fighting Tenth's stand stunned the enemy and saved countless lives. Their resistance turned disaster into defiance. They became the last line of defense for the entire sector. Their courage had a strategic impact far beyond Yultong. The legend of the Fighting Filipinos was sealed. When the smoke cleared, the 10th BCT had withdrawn, but at a heavy price. 12 Filipinos, including Captain Yap and Lieutenant Artiaga, were killed. Dozens more were wounded or missing. For a battalion of 900, every loss was deeply felt. Yet their stand was hailed across the UN command. Captain Yap, Lieutenant Artiaga, and Private Deluana received the Philippines' highest military honors. The unit earned medals and praise from both the Philippines and the United States. American commanders called them the best fighting men they'd seen. The Battle of Yultong was declared a major UN victory. The Filipinos' refusal to break gave the UN time to regroup and saved Seoul. Their valor was strategically decisive. The world recognized their courage and sacrifice. Their actions became a symbol of coalition strength. The Fighting Tenth's legacy was secured in history. The legacy of Yultong lives on in both the Philippines and South Korea. PEFTOK veterans are honored as national heroes, their story taught in military academies. Monuments and museums in both countries ensure their sacrifice is never forgotten. In South Korea, gratitude for the Filipino contribution endures. A monument at Yultong stands as a testament to their bravery. Ceremonies and tributes continue, honoring the bond forged in war. The shared experience created lasting diplomatic and cultural ties. Filipino visitors to Korea are met with respect for their nation's sacrifice. The veterans, now elders, carry the memory with dignity. Their stories inspire new generations. The spirit of the Fighting Tenth endures. The Battle of Yultong is more than history, it's a lesson in courage and sacrifice. The 10th BCT proved that heroism is measured by heart, not numbers. Their story challenges us to stand by our comrades and fulfill our duty. Sharing their legacy connects us to a noble past and inspires future generations. The peace we enjoy was paid for by their bravery. Remembering them is our duty and our promise. Their sacrifice must never be forgotten. Let us honor the veterans and those who never came home. Their courage brought honor to our nation and freedom to another. Their legacy is a call to live with courage and serve with honor. The heroes of Yultong will always inspire us.